President Bola Tinubu in New York as United Nations General Assembly begins. Political parties name campaign teams for the November 11 governorship off-cycle polls in Bayelsa, Kogi, and Imo states. Also on political update today, the legislature and the albatross of loyalty and party patronage. These and more on our lineup today. I'm Fisayo Ogunfuyi. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu is set for his first participation in the United Nations General Assembly. The president will be presenting Nigeria's position on a number of global issues, giving timelines and details of Nigeria's efforts to domesticate initiatives which promote global ideals and the march towards development in a more climate-friendly and sustainable world.
President Bola Tinubu is here to open yet another page in his book of first. The significance is not only in joining the largest annual gathering of world leaders and high-ranking diplomats, but coming at the first full-scale physical gathering since COVID-19 disruption. Coming with a leaner but formidable team, the president is scheduled to address the General Assembly on Tuesday, same day with U.S. President Joe Biden to restate Nigeria's position on the global commitments.
His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is someone who is absolutely determined to ensure that he gets the best out of every engagement for the sake of the Nigerian economy and the Nigerian people. And this is why his economic development diplomatic drive is going full steam ahead here in New York during the United Nations General Assembly.
Apart from bilateral and multilateral meetings, President Tinubu is equally expected to meet with some counterparts.
What is going to be at the forefront of the president's thinking is how he can persuade his counterparts to rally their business communities to come to Nigeria with their funds, establish facilities and industries that will massively employ our people and expand our tax revenue base in the country. And then on the other hand, the president is not just content with attracting foreign direct investment to Nigeria. He's also focused on ensuring that a win-win partnership is created with these various countries and companies in such a way that Nigerian MSMEs, that Nigerian large-scale industries, that Nigerian companies can go into these international and foreign markets and have an equal share, a fair share.
Back home, professionals under the Institute of Corporate Administration are proposing a knowledge-driven and innovative approach in the strategic implementation of renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu's administration.
Unlocking potentials of the 31st ranked economy in the world with a growing gross domestic product of about 27% is deepening discussion with solutions in sight by these professionals. They are corporate administrators who believe the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu is a sure way to ending the dark days of Nigeria economy and restoring hope in oil and non-oil sectors through knowledge-driven innovative strategies as the key to managing the country's challenges for desired results.
From the agricultural age to the industrial age to the information age and now in the innovation age, many are yet to understand it. And this is the age where you need a lot of creativity, looking for disruptive way of doing things instead of recycling the old practices.
If this camera that you are using for us now, if it's not an innovative one, nobody's going to mind you. So innovation, make goods and services to sell. And the awakening is now.
Apart from welcoming new members to wheel the door faster, the professionals are also determined in the recovery of lost times and building a country where surplus and purchasing power will wear human face and redefine economy of the day.
Now realizing that a group like this actually took notice of all those stages of trying to go into new things and trying them out and seeing that they are bringing out good results.
It's less for us now to go back to various institutions, organizations, to bring out a new idea that will promote the various parastatals that will better the country Nigeria.
We are going to SME in my company, in my organization, so that we can help them to not just giving them the money. Somebody has to give them the ideas or how they will use this money.
A brief from the legislature now. Speaker of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Adebo Ogundoyin, has emerged as the new chairman of the Conference of Speakers of Nigeria in a unanimous voice vote following the withdrawal of Ogun State Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly from that race.
These are the new executives of Conference of Speakers of State Legislature of Nigeria taking the oath of allegiance. The Constitution of the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures of Nigeria stipulates a 2-year term of office for its elected leadership, and it is being rotated between the north and the southern part of the country. The election conducted in a closed door saw the emergence of the Oyo State Assembly Speaker, Adebo Ogundoyin, a member of the PDP, as new chairman in a unanimous decision.
We will explore every possible way of ensuring a harmonized and uniform House standing rules for all state legislatures in order to enhance our legislative institution.
Primary objective first is to see how every legislative arm of government is autonomous.
I'm very confident it's going to come out very strong, and the association will definitely take a new dimension.
With this development, the Oyo State Speaker is the youngest chairman of the Conference of Speakers since its establishment in 1999.
We will return to the legislative activities in the course of the program, but going back up to first two stories. In the past few weeks, the Nigerian government, led by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has exchanged telling handshakes with the international community in areas of trade, technology, transfer, investment in critical sectors of the economy, and diplomacy. Tuesday, which is today, President Tinubu will, alongside other world leaders, address the United Nations General Assembly. In his first outing at the gathering of the planet's helmsmen, Honorable Sam Onuigbo, a former diplomat and former lawmaker, joins us today. Thank you, Honorable, for joining us at this time.
Thank you very much indeed.
All right, let's start with, what happened a few weeks ago. You were not here. We'll also go to your summit, also the Africa Climate Summit. But let's start with the G20 Summit and other diplomatic engagements this month. How would you score the Tinubu administration so far?
Well, thank you very much. I'll score the administration very high in that within a space of 3 months, we have seen visible changes in terms of engagement, both international organizations that have visited Nigeria, and then his own engagement outside the shores of the country. And these were not just tourism. They were intended to attract investment to Nigeria, to say that, look, in line with my inaugural speech, where Mr. President said that he was going to remodel the economy to ensure that we achieve growth through food production, security, food security, and then creation of employment for the young people. So how do you do that? You do that by engaging with the international community, and that he has done in a very productive and successful way. So there's no doubt that these outings are geared towards achieving his manifesto and the contents of his inaugural address.
I'm talking about policies being geared towards perhaps reshaping the thrust of getting our, economy right and providing more and better opportunities for the teeming population of the country. Domestically, I think it's taking shape, and the policies getting a buy-in at the subnational level.
Absolutely. I probably just cite one instance. Last week, when I was at the Kenyan National Assembly during the African Climate Summit, I made a speech where I said that we are inviting the international community to come and take advantage of the changes that have occurred as far as our electricity is concerned. Because having moved electricity from the exclusive list to the concurrent list, and now coming up with an Electricity Act, which Mr. President signed, I think on the 9th of June. That's just a few days after he assumed office. Now, Enugu State has also joined, with the governor of the state, Governor Mba, signing their own electricity law on the 15th of September. So if you check this, and then you ask yourself, what is this intended to achieve? It's to create the enabling environment, to create employment, create enormous opportunities for the young people and for the nation to grow its economy. Whether you are talking about a small, medium enterprise, or you are talking about the big organizations, we need something like that to be able to achieve. One thing, if you are asking about whether there has been any impact, a leader sets the pace and the tone of how he wants his organization to run. And that's precisely what Mr. President has done. And of course, it's going to bear immense fruit.
All right, tonight the UN General Assembly will be on. Other world leaders will come. We're expecting to have speeches that will make telling impact and perhaps give us a course of the direction, of course, that Nigeria is taking, advertising new potentials, our potentials to the world, and perhaps giving the thrust of the renewed hope agenda a bigger platform, perhaps, to resonate. What are your expectations as far as the UN General Assembly is concerned?
I foresee a situation where Mr. President will probably be talking about the challenges around the globe that are inhibiting growth, talking about the war in Ukraine. We're talking about how that has impacted on food security, particularly as it affects Africans. And then he's also likely to talk about climate change, issues of health, and how to ensure that it's more development, more trade involving the entire world, so that how we lived before, without unnecessary, demarcations, that we can return to that and be able to create an enabling environment for investors, for those who are in marketing. In fact, I see Mr. President marketing Nigeria during his speech.
I'm talking about acceptance so far in terms of what, it is one thing to extend your hand, receiving a handshake, and there's another for the handshake to be warm and cordial. What's in, your experience and what you've heard, especially now that you just returned from, some of your international engagements, what has been the perception like in other parts of the world?
Well, from my
from
my personal experience, I think the entire world is looking towards a nation of about 230 million people, and a nation with immense opportunities. Oh, please permit me to again talk about what happened during the privatization of the telecommunications industry, where initially it seemed like it was not going to work. But when it started, those who took advantage of it smiled to the banks and in fact used Nigeria to become a launch pad, from where they took off to get to other countries around the world. So Nigeria is a big market, and we have very young population that is well over 60%, and we have some other areas to touch, and that's why I scratched the matter about electricity and energy and why it is critical. So with these opportunities that are bound, I have no doubt that the warm reception we are getting will come along with foreign direct investment and help us to open up our economy.
All right, I'm talking about, just a little bit of echoes from that African Climate Summit. Of course, climate change continues to be on the front burner as far as UN initiatives are concerned, and, the quest for zero emission and all the different signatories and nations are also committing to zero emission. Perhaps that would also resonate tonight. But looking at what happened in Kenya, what would be your comments at this time? And are we still one of the countries in the forefront of trying to make this happen?
Yes, we have done well in terms of...
I'm talking about in Africa as well.
Yes, we have done well in terms of having a law. We have an act now, the Climate Change Act, 2021, which by the grace of God, I sponsored when I was there in the House. And then the heads of states in Africa got together to take a look at all the promises that have been made us in terms of how we can tackle the challenges coming from climate change and how we can change this, accelerate action, and then find the finance, whether it's going to come through debt restructuring or other ways, to be able to show that it is not all talk that we go to do annually. We prepare a position, just like we did, in Egypt, so that we take a position, a united approach. That's one of the things that came out of Nairobi, that as we are going to Dubai for COP28, we should be able to present a position that has strength, that has support, that is coming with some unanimity of opinion, that way you should be able to get some reward. That's precisely what happened, because and it was also important for other nations to know what to do and take advantage of renewable energy, which is where the world is heading towards. Because if you check what the Chinese have done with their electric cars, if you check what other nations have done, how they have transited, countries like Norway, Netherlands, and the rest of them, even Paraguay, you discover that so many countries are making, steady progress. And we all need to join. We don't have to wait, so that we don't get stranded with all the critical assets that we have, oil, gas. We have to put all this into use and transit in a manner that is just. I think that's the bottom line of what we discussed.
Okay, let's go quickly down to some politics before we come and close shop. The national chairman of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, says the party is solidly behind the re-election of Imo State Governor Uzodinma, whom he described as a great achiever. Come November 11 governorship poll in the state, the APC national chairman stated this, over a while inaugurating the party's national campaign council for the Imo State governorship election.
Inaugurating the 660-member APC National Campaign Council for Imo State governorship election, the party's national chairman, Alhaji Abdullahi Ganduje, says the ruling party is working around the clock to ensure that Governor Hope Uzodinma records landslide victory in the Imo State governorship election. He added that Governor Uzodinma, having performed above expectations, he is optimistic of his re-election for another term in office.
We are ready to do all what we must do to ensure that you succeed in this election.
The National Secretary of the party, Senator Ajibola Bashiru, assured that the re-election of Governor Uzodinma will solidify Imo State position on the path towards greater heights of prosperity and progress.
All I'm asking Dimo is, let the peace continue. Let opportunities flourish. Let prosperity gain greater ground.
Governor Hope Uzodinma says APC is ready for the election and solicited the support of the voters in the state in order to enable him to continue with his people-oriented governance.
APC is a movement in Imo State. APC is the party to beat in Imo State. And APC is completely ready for all elections.
As part of the activities marking the inauguration of the party's National Campaign Council, the APC National Chairman, Alhaji Ganduje, had earlier on arrival inaugurated the state governorship campaign office in Owerri.
One of the speakers in that track was not actually Senator Basiru, but the governor of Cross River State, Governor Otu, there in that campaign, inauguration of the campaign council. The People's Democratic Party, meanwhile, is confident of reclaiming Kogi State in the November 11 governorship election. This was the position of many leaders of the party while unveiling a policy document of its governorship candidate, Senator Dino Melaye, at the party's headquarters in Abuja.
Presentation of the policy document tagged Solution Book by the governorship candidate for the People's Democratic Party in Kogi State, Dino Melaye. The document identified areas of focus for the governorship candidate if victorious in the upcoming election.
If some of us are still alive, we will continue to torment you. Oga, this is the thing where we do, they do. Make you look at that book, try and do it. And that is the only way we can help him.
And I know that this document will be able to give us a direction. And when we have a direction, we know the man that we're working with. He will follow it and he will make good with it.
It's going to be a new dawn. It's going to be a new order. It's going to be a new day.
Many here believe that a policy document has become imperative to give Kogi State a direction for its growth and development going forward. They recommended that there must be an independent Kogi State Economic Development Commission, and when Dino Melaye becomes the governor, people that will constitute that commission should be independent, credible, and have influence on the activities of the governor.
All right, Honorable, the race is coming much closer in 3 states, Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi states, and the parts of course, getting ready to go. You are part of the people who developed and, worked on the Electoral Act 2022, which is fully operational now. Of course, a lot of politicians are still getting, used to it. We've had this discussion before, but in fine detail, what will it's, when we see it, fully deployed in, November 11, what were the things that we didn't quite see in the general elections that you're expecting at least politicians and political parties to abide by as far as the off-cycle elections are concerned?
Thank you. With the opportunity offered by off-cycle elections, we have seen the Electoral Act perform very well regarding the primary election, to be able for the parties to select their candidates or to elect the candidates for the forthcoming general election for the off-cycle season. But one of the things that we are likely to benefit from, again, is the application of technology. So that is well provided for in the Act. And if there were areas where we made changes, I believe we made mistakes. I believe that this off-cycle election has the opportunity for us to be able to strengthen these things and then prepare for future elections. Because that's the reason why we looked through the document in preparing it, making sure that we eliminated all those pitfalls, those loopholes that used to create problems for candidates. So right now, if you are a candidate, you are a candidate. And you have to know that before even you go for election. It's no longer operating in, an uncertainty.
All right, before I let you go, just a few words. You are a member of the Northeast Development Commission. I beg your pardon. Is all systems go now as far as the commission is concerned?
Yes. The commission, the new board, has been inaugurated. It was inaugurated in August. We had our inaugural meeting in Maiduguri just on the 8th. And then after that, we participated, by joining the vice president, in flagging of a major road network that's going to go through the food-producing communities that before now had no access. And of course, when you have such a road, it eliminates the challenges of those people who come from nowhere to attack and run away. Security people can reach there. Food produce can now be brought to the cities and even sent to other parts of the country. In fact, I think it's one of the most fertile area in rice production, where we went to flag off the road, which was done by Mr. Vice President. Then thereafter, the commission funded a major, palliative effort that was distributed also by the Vice President to the governors, the National Assembly members, the State Assembly members, and other interest groups, and of course, those who are, in areas, part of the people who are displaced, because it's going to cover them. And on top of that, the commission is also getting ready to tackle other challenges, including the issue of degraded areas, to ensure that apart from the physical security, you're also going to talk about human security, to make sure that people are able to live their normal lives. It's not enough for you to reconstruct a house and say, live in that house, but you should also be able to go out there and fend for yourself on a daily basis, for you and for your family. So these are the areas that the commission, is focusing on right now.
All right.
Do reconstruction, resettle, rehabilitate, but also create human security so that people can have something to do for themselves.
All right, so it's a continuing conversation. We will still revisit it in our future programs. We wish you the very best, Honorable Simon Oyibo, for honoring this call. And of course, after, our interventions and our contributions at the UN General Assembly, perhaps we'll get you in, being a former diplomat, to perhaps give us some analysis as well. That has been the program for today. We'll be back again on Friday with a fresh package. Don't forget to continue with the eye on the off-cycle elections as well as other political activities activities across the country. But between now and then, please play your politics for the greater good and keep on watching the Nigerian Television Authority, Africa's largest and finest, where we give you the very best of news, reviews, previews, and interviews. Bye-bye now.